What if I told you that you can control your emotions and behavior all by how you think? Sounds too good to be true, but it's possible. I will introduce to you REBT, Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. I use it in my practice and in my everyday life, and I will teach you all about this therapy as well as the benefits to using it. Let's restart your thinking. Hi, I'm Brianna Tart, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker that practices Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy. In this video, I'll teach you more about this therapeutic model that I use in my practice and in my everyday life. Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy was created by Dr. Albert Ellis in the mid-1950s. He learned that activating events, things that are outside of our control, such as how people treat us, harsh conditions, and sometimes our failures, are not what causes our emotions. It's not what causes us to be angry, anxious, depressed, but it's what we are telling ourselves about these events and occurrences. He realized that with everything that we do not have control over, the only thing we can depend on is ourselves and how we react to things that are outside of our control. Albert Ellis created the theory of musting. Anytime you have a healthy desire, preference, wish, and want, and you change it into a dogmatic, rigid demand, command, and necessity, you create a disturbance. We oftentimes make demands of things that are outside of our control. We feel as though things must be a certain way, that they have to, and if someone does something we don't like, how dare they do these things? Well, these are very rigid and very dogmatic. Once we believe that we have control over these things, we set ourselves up for failure, disappointment, and distress. Why are thoughts so important? Well, studies have shown that what we tell ourselves has the same physical effect as real-world events. If you are telling yourself that you can't stand the situation or that something is so horrible, your body is going to react as if it's in a fight or flight response. So think about it. If we were to change how we think and how we view things, we will have less distress within our lives. If we are able to convince ourselves that we can handle tough situations, if we're able to perceive the situations as not being horrible and the worst thing to happen to us, but unpleasant, disappointing experiences, we are more likely to navigate them with ease or with less distress. Albert Ellis created the ABC model of emotional and behavioral regulation. He defined A as an activating event. This could be anything that has happened in your past, present, or even in the future. B stands for our beliefs, our core beliefs, our thoughts. They can be irrational or rational. And C stands for consequences. What are our emotional or behavioral consequences? Albert Ellis believed that our activating events are not the direct cause of our emotional and behavioral states, but it's what we tell ourselves at B that causes our emotional and behavioral distress. If it's a rational belief, you are most likely going to have emotions that are not helpful for you and experience or behave in ways that are not self-serving. If the beliefs are rational, you are more likely reacting in ways that are beneficial to you. Your emotions are much more tolerable enough for you to problem solve difficult situations. You will behave in a way that gets you closer to your goal and your desires. Dr. Albert Ellis discovered that there are 4 common irrational beliefs that causes our emotional and behavioral disturbance. The first one is demand. We oftentimes make demands of other people, harsh conditions, or even demands of ourselves. Whenever you hear yourself saying that some things must be a certain way, that they have to, and you command it so, you are believing that you have control over things that are outside of your control. Whether that's how people view you, whether that's waking up and your car doesn't start, you basically believe that these things must not be so. And that definitely can lead to some distress. Another belief that Dr. Albert Ellis defined was awfulization, also known as catastrophizing. Sometimes we believe that things are 110% bad, meaning 3 things. 1, we can't cope with it. 2, we wouldn't be able to survive it. And 3, we will no longer experience joy if we were to experience this. The third belief is low frustration tolerance. We convince ourselves that things are not only bad, but they're intolerable. We can't stand them. It's unbearable. And if you think that something is unbearable, of course you're going to find yourself anxious, depressed about these things. The fourth belief is condemning or damning. You can condemn or damn other people, the world, or even yourself. And when you do that, you will definitely create a very irrational belief that you are condemning the totality of yourself, other people, or world events. Instead of looking at behaviors for what they are, one of the benefits of Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy, you become more emotionally resilient to hardships. You also are better with coping with stress and setbacks that you experience in life. You're no longer going to view unfortunate events as unfortunate, but you'll have a better outlook that helps you reflect on situations and try to improve your circumstances. Another benefit of practicing REBT is that you will obtain healthier relationships and communicate better. When you have an understanding as to why you do the things you do, what types of thinking causes those behavior, you're more likely to communicate effectively. Strong communication builds for a great relationship, whether that's with your friends, family, loved ones, or coworkers. Another great benefit to learning REBT and putting it into practice is that you become more self-aware and you'll learn to accept yourself unconditionally. If we learn to accept ourselves despite our successes and failures, we will have more of a healthier, happier life. We will no longer measure our sense of self-worth, can do something for others, or if we succeed in certain tasks, but we learn to accept ourselves even when we aren't so proud of our performance or behaviors. Be sure to comment below if you've ever heard of Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy and if you find that it can be useful in implementing and changing your ways. It's not easy to restructure years and years of negative, irrational thinking. However, it's not impossible. Like and share this video to those who may benefit from the information below. Check out my other REBT-based videos. I also upload a worksheet and a blog with every video. If there are any things you would like me to comment or make a video about, also write it in the comments. I will love to talk about topics that interest you. And remember, with every restart, there's a chance to reshape your thoughts and emotions. I'll see you next time.